reason why everyone disagrees with you, Mr. Bouvet, and people feel it necessary to give up a job they love at the Department of Justice and quit because they won't go along with what they consider unethical and immoral orders from you. There must be a reason why that is so true of so many, and this court needs to get to the bottom of it.
At today's confirmation hearing for Donald Trump's pick for a lifetime appointment on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, Emil Bovee, Senator Adam Schiff posed that question to him. Why are so many people who love the department, who love the law, resigning because of and in the face of Bovee's actions and direct orders and commands? Bovee, who currently serves as the top official in Trump's DOJ, is the person who ordered Manhattan prosecutors to dismiss the criminal corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. It's a move that compelled then U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassoon, to resign abruptly. A flurry of others followed her, including conservative Republicans. In her resignation letter, Sassoon spoke to Bovee ignoring the facts and the rule of law. Quote, the reasons advanced by Mr. Bovee for dismissing the indictment are not ones I can in good faith defend as in the public interest and as consistent with the principles and impartiality that fairness that guide my decision making. And now, according to a brand new blockbuster whistleblower report just out yesterday, Bovee instructed his subordinates and wanted them to ignore the courts as well. Veteran DOJ lawyer Erez Reveni, in his report, recounted a meeting in March about deporting immigrants in which Bovee said this, quote, he stressed to all in attendance that the planes needed to take off no matter what. Bovee then made a remark concerning the possibility that a court order would enjoin those removals before they could be effectuated. Bovee stated that DOJ would need to consider telling the courts, F you, it's the word Trump said on the South Lawn yesterday, for those of you watching closely, and ignore any such court order, end quote. At today's hearing, Senator Cory Booker raised a simple question.
I'm wondering where the lines are for you. What's the line in the sand when you wield awesome power of government? What is that line for you? Because clearly lying to a court isn't a red line. Referring to follow court or refusing to follow court orders isn't a line. Doxing judges and government officials isn't a red line. Intimidating attorneys you supervise into doing things they believe is unethical is not a line. So what's your red line? I really wonder. What could the president ask you to do that you wouldn't do? What wouldn't you do to win?
Joining our coverage, voting rights attorney, founder of Democracy Docket, Mark Elias is back. Also joining us, former criminal division deputy chief at SDNY, MSNBC legal analyst Christy Greenberg's here. Christy worked for Bovee. Is it Bovee? Bovee? I've said it a million different ways. Bovee. We finally got it. Christy, you worked with him. There's this extraordinary whistleblower report out about how he instructed lawyers at DOJ to ignore court orders. Your thoughts on how those allegations were handled today?
So I thought the questioning from Senator Schiff on this was right on point. He essentially went through the whistleblower complaint and said, did you say that you would consider telling the courts F you and not abiding by the court's order? Did you say that? And Bovee's response was, I do not recall. I have no recollection of saying anything of the kind. He then, like a dog with a bone, just kept asking the question over and over. And he got responses like, well, that maybe I tell people to fight hard for their positions. And, he was kind of shifting and not really answering, but ultimately came up with, I don't recall. And what Senator Schiff said to that was absolutely right. Like, what do you mean you don't recall? That's something you would think you would recall saying to a group of people, that to tell a court to F off. Is that how you usually speak? It was just such a remarkable exchange. And this is not like something that happened years ago. This is a few months ago in a pretty high profile case. You would know if you said that. So, and again, it is in keeping in the tone and tenor of past conduct that Senator Booker brought up, where there were public reporting about a number of complaints dating back to 2018 when he was at SDNY about the way that he spoke to defense attorneys, the way that he spoke to prosecutors. And so him saying something like that, using that kind of language, again, when viewed in the total context of complaints about him, seems to be in keeping with how he speaks to people and how he acts. And remember, it was just 2 days ago where Justice Sotomayor, in her dissenting opinion in the court, in the case where there were deportations to a third country, she said, we've seen this Department of Justice violate court orders. We've seen it now multiple times. And this court continues to treat that noncompliance and allow them to get away with it. And that is only going to further erode the rule of law. So I don't think anybody should have any confidence in Bovey's comments today on that. I would have expected somebody to say, of course, I not only did not say that, but would never say that. That's not what he said. And so I think there really has to be something to the claims that this whistleblower is making. At a minimum, it would warrant an investigation.
Let me play that line of questioning from Senator Schiff for you, Mark.
Did you say anything of that kind in the meeting?
Senator, I have no recollection of saying anything of that kind. To the extent I
Wouldn't you recall, Mr. Bovey, if you said or suggested during a meeting with Justice Department lawyers that maybe they should consider telling the court, you? It seems to me that would be something you'd remember, unless that's the kind of thing you say frequently.
Well, I've certainly said things encouraging litigators at the department to fight hard for valid positions that we have to take in defense of our clients.
And have you frequently suggested that they say you and ignore court orders? Is that also something you frequently do, such you might not remember doing it on this occasion?
No. And as I explained, I have never directed.
So did you or did you not make those comments during that meeting?
Which comments, Senator?
You really need me to repeat it? Did you suggest, as Mr. Ruveni wrote, that DOJ would need to consider telling the courts you and ignore any such court order?
I did not suggest that there would be any need to consider ignoring court orders. At the point of that meeting, there were no court orders to discuss.
So this week is officially the FU week of Trump's second presidency. We heard it from the president. We heard it there 3 times from Adam Schiff in quoting a whistleblower account of Mr. Bovey. Your thoughts, Mark Elias?
Of course he said it. I mean, he said it because we have seen the Department of Justice disobey court orders and not literally swearing at judges, not saying the F word to judges, but saying the lawyerly equivalent of that to judges all over the place. I mean, just today, we saw the Department of Justice file a lawsuit against every member of the judiciary, every federal judge in Maryland. Like, we are almost every day, certainly every week, experiencing and talking about on this broadcast and elsewhere about the unbelievable arrogance, the unbelievable disregard that DOJ lawyers are showing, contempt they are showing towards individual judges, towards the judicial branch as a whole, making threats that maybe they don't need to follow court orders, that district court judges are exceeding their authority. I mean, we hear that from the president and the vice president. So, of course he said it, because he meant it. Like, it's not like it slipped out. I mean, the only thing I kind of disagree with is that we're calling the person who witnessed this a whistleblower. A whistleblower assumes that Mr. Bovey was doing something contrary to the wishes of the administration, and there had to be someone who stood up bravely. No, he was executing the position of the White House. He's executing the position of the Attorney General. He, when Mr. Scoten, who, as you recall, was a conservative rock-ribbed Republican prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, resigned as part of that Eric Adams thing, he wrote to Bovey and said that you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to follow your motion, but it was never going to be me. Like, that was a conservative Republican saying that, knowing that Bovey would in fact find a fool and a coward to do that. So, of course it's true he said it, because it's what this administration wanted him to be saying.